So we are going to talk about DevOps. So here we have two operations. One is development and the other one is operations. Okay. So maybe if people are aware of the project life cycle is the work environment. Normally, in any industry, the work culture will be defined based on the methodologies. Means in IT, we have like waterfall model. We have uh, like uh, like later we got like agile methodology. Okay. So before jumping into this DevOps stream and completely into the demo part, quickly, I just want to introduce myself first, and later on we'll try to go ahead with the demonstration. So I hope maybe people are aware of my name. So myself Rajesh, and I have like close to 15 years of experience into IT industry. 15 years of ITS experience, and I have various domains experience into like BI, whereas I have worked for Tableau earlier, like Power BI, and currently the market trending we are working on ADF, and along with the maintenance. So it's like all about my interest. It's not like mandatory to have these all. It's like all about my interest that I'm working on. Okay, so I am into a developer, and I am the responsible person to deploy the code, and I am the responsible person to take all the DevOps operations as well once the delivery team starts. So the code developer level, whichever I have experience and whichever I'm showcasing, so those all I'm able to implement the DevOps. So here, I'm sorry, small share problem. Okay. So here all together, so the altogether experience will help me to demand for high packages, and without any struggle in my career, IT career, I can continually work on. And there are a lot of benefits like having roles and responsibilities with various different domains. Okay, so myself, I can say that yeah, I am like enough strong in IT industry to continue maybe for the next 10-15 years also without any struggles. Because my resume, if I upload, I have a demand in the market. Because it's not all about my technical stuff or knowledge, whatever I have experienced with the tools and with the project maintenance flows, definitely I'll be a good demand in the market. Okay, so that's all based on the technologies I'm saying. And I have work experience with Capgemini. So Capgemini, which is well known company, and Bank of America. I worked for Bank of America, and I worked for Polaris, and which is like now Vachusa, and I worked for CGI. It's like Canadian-based company, which is CGI. So one of the best employee favor company where I have seen in my career. So I have worked with TechM as well. After Bank of America, I worked for TechM, Tech Mahindra. So like I got like various companies experiences as well. So I have worked on different roles as well. So that is the reason I have planned my career very perfect manner as I feel for now, because my career I have seen, right? So that is what I'm just mentioning these all things. So whenever we complete the DevOps stream, the projects maybe I'll show you with any one of the code, deploying the code and maintenance the code, why we are coming into the DevOps, and these all things we will talk on this. This is one of the benefit that we had. If I am only into the deep of DevOps team, maybe I'll talk about the tools only, I'll talk about something. But if I have the code knowledge as well, I can show you practically the deployment of these codes into how we are going to deploy. So that's where the main benefit of training type people who takes training from me. Okay, so this is how we are going to my introduction. I just want to showcase my introduction, and coming to the pure technical like domains experience. I hope many of us know it is a DevOps. So Maybe I'm not sure how many of you know there are two things involved in this DevOps. Two things involved in this DevOps. One is development, another one is operations. So I am part of these two actually. Okay. So DevOps is the one operation where it will perform. So what all the things we are going to do in the project? So first of all, it's like no one will start working with the project not directly, right? We have to know few things that what we are going to perform in the projects. So, for example, I'm just clearing this. For example, we have a project. So the project is included with as I mentioned, included with the dev team and included with operations. So within the development, what we are going to do first? First, we are going to gather the requirements from the client. We are going to gather the requirements from the client. I'll just make a note here. I have some how projects are going to work. The project is going to work based on the so we have like two performances we have to perform in the projects. One is development and other one is operations. So coming to development, under development, what all the things we are going to perform. So first of all, we are going to collect the requirements from the client. So that is like requirements gathering. Requirements gathering. Maybe as a development part, we people don't do. BA will do. Business analyst will do this part. And to the requirements, the plan, the code will be again with the team meeting setup and all. People will do. That is like code. And now the teams will come and start the building that code. And once the building is completed, like development is done, we have to configure that to the servers. I mean to say like we have to configure the resources which require. So once the testing from the developer side, like as an unit testing, once we perform, we are going to deploy this into the testing team, to the testing team. So these are all the activities which we have to perform as the client perspective, as the client perspective. I'm sorry, not client, as per the developer perspective. So before or like after we are going to know these things. Next, coming under operations, what we are going to do once the code is finalized and our testing team is also fine with every concept, they found some issues and they are resolved. Next, we are going to deploy that code, right? They are going to deploy that code. Once we deploy that code, we are going to operate it, and once the operations were done, means deployment means what? Deploying into the production servers. And after deploying, we are going to operate it through the front-end applications. Once the operation is done, we are going to monitor the code. So these all things we are going to closely observe from the operations team side. We are going to observe these things closely from the operations team. So these two things which we are performing in the process of implementation of the project. Definitely, most of us know development operations and the operations performance. Now, this is in the project. So, within the project, we are going to perform these things. So, how this will take care means these two things will be taken care. So, in any client, for any client, if you are working, we can have multiple domains. We have multiple domains. We have like sales domain, we have like product domain, we have like customer domain. Means the parts of the business. In any business, we'll have all these departments. Maybe like inventory, and maybe like we can have like customer inverse employees department. Like all together, these departments, when you configure, this is going to be a project. So we have models, methodologies, like methodologies to implement this process. So the first methodology is like water flow model. Initially, we have to work on the model like water flow models. We have to work in the methodology like water flow model. What is going to happen in the water flow model? Water flow model, see, this is your whole project. This is your whole project. This whole project is performed with requirement gathering, and performed with the code implementation, and performed with the code building, and performed with, means all together, all the departments which I mentioned as sales department, employee department, product department, these all, once these all complete, then only the project is going to release to the client. When your project model is in the water flow model. This is the earlier model that we are working on. But currently, which is a trending model which we are working is agile methodology. So whereas the whole project will be categorized into the modules like. So this is called like one of the module. This is one of the module. This is one of the module. So now, once this model, for example, related to sales, this module is having a requirement gathering and code implementation and starting the building of the code and configuring the resources and testing. Everything is done. We are completed within this part, and we are going to the operation team to deliver as well. So this is all together happened. Next, we will pick the another module. This is called like agile methodology, agile process. So this water flow process will have some drawbacks. Then what are they? Till this whole project, all the modules completes these all phases, definitely there is no delivery to the client. But in agile methodology, once we are complete with the sales, definitely we are going to deliver that sales product. So that is what the agile methodology process stands for. Okay. So next. So this is like a water flow model steps where it is going to perform. First, we gather requirement, design, implementation, verification, maintenance. Verification means nothing but testing. Maintenance means nothing but monitoring the results, monitoring the code and all, right? So to implement this whole process, definitely it will take some certain time. Like for example, like 1 year. Like for requirement gathering and all, it will take 3 months. And maybe design and all, for all the modules, if you do, it will take 2 months, for suppose. And implementation, if it is taking like 6 months. And verification, as I'm testing 1 month, and maintenance again, sometime if you do like 2 months. Altogether, it is near to 12 to 15 months. 14 months completely. So the client is having here a disadvantage that the project is going to deliver at which time? After 1 year completion. So this is going to help the client? No, this is not going to help the client, because client is sitting idle, or else client is having their own business, but they will don't get income from our end until unless the one year project completes. Once we complete the delivery. So this is one of the drawback from the waterfall model. So to overcome this, we got what we got like agile. We got like agile methodology. So here, if you see the water flow model, the water flow model. One second. We got like requirements gathering, design, and deployment. Development and testing, deployment. These all phases it is going to take so and so time. For example, like this for all the domains. For all the domains. So that is what waterfall model earlier. Now in agile methodology, if you see the requirement gathering, the design, and develop and testing is going to perform for only the sales module, and it is deploying within the month frame of 3 months, like 4 to 5 weeks, we can say. The shortest duration means like if you are delivering based on this sales, this is called like Scrum, the shortest duration, or else sprint. In Agile, we call it as sprint. Okay, so we got like next module like employee. So again, we are deploying it. Again, we got like stock, all the stock market related stock information domain. So like this, we are going to complete. And what is the benefit in agile methodology? In agile methodology, we are going to deliver the product, the first initial product within 3 months. Next, by June, we are specifying again. Within next 3 months, we are going to deliver with the second module. Means some income can be gained from the client based on the sales module. Or else we can prioritize these modules as well. We can prioritize these modules. So the agile methodology is the one of the very frequently and very like in the market nowadays, we have a good demand model like agile methodology. Whenever you go for a development activity, people are asking, do you have experience in working in agile methodology or not? So that much where we have to concentrate on the agile methodology. Of course, the water flow model, still there are some projects which are having water flow model, but still the main popular model is agile methodology. So up to here, is it clear? Like what all the model means? Whenever you go for a project, you have to know the models of the project. Which model, which methodology they are following. Model means nothing but methodology. There will be a project life cycle. So waterfall model or like agile methodology, they will follow something. So that we have to know. So what is the difference between waterfall model and what is agile methodology? So both of them, are you clear? So up to here, any questions on this part? If any questions, you can raise. So any questions? So first of all, we have to know before going to the DevOps. Like DevOps is nothing but performing these things. So earlier in the waterfall model, what happens? Your deployment should happen maximum 1 to 2 years gap. It's not like regular, frequently we do that, right? So now when I say agile methodology, when you are implementing the process in the department, means module wise, the whole the configuration, testing, release, design, build, this is a circle or not? The agile model is having the circle for only the one department like sales. For the sales, it is configuring all these phases. So the development follows a continuous improvement. The cycle exposing flaws faster, reducing the waste of time. So value is achieved faster and release arrive to the customer more frequently. So this is delivered or not? This is having the cycle of what? Only one part. What is that? Development. Whenever we have the development circle in this way, definitely we should have the operations also the same way, right? So we have to go with a new circle, like a new diagram. If you see the new image, it's like having the development part and operations part. So the development, once we are doing and deploying the code, definitely the operations team also will have work or not. So definitely this is the one of the best image to understand the DevOps operation in a perfect manner. So we have to build the code and the code implementation, and we have to take the requirement plan. And once you are done, you have to release to for testing. Once testing is done, we have to release to the deployment. So the deployment operations will be performed and monitoring will happen. Is it clear? Am I what I'm talking? If people are able to grasp, I mean to say like, am I giving you proper way? That's what I want to know. So as I am coming to your way to talk on this part, or it's something like you have some questions. If you have any questions, please come out with your questions. Don't go with your questions further. So this is all about, now we purely come into the DevOps. So to do performing all these things, what we are going to do, we are going to talk in the next concept. But up to here, first of all, we discussed what are the methodologies. What are the methodologies we have? Waterfall we have, agile we have. Waterfall is what? Like after completion of whole module department, then delivery should happen. But now agile methodology will be having departmental wise, like module wise or else. So whenever the deployment development is happening module wise, the operations also will continue in the same way or not. So the DevOps development and operations continuously we should have. So when we have continuously no manpower required to deploy the code into the repository services, I mean to servers, these all things. So that is the reason we are coming into the DevOps. There are multiple tools on DevOps to work on this process. Shall we go further? So the development and operations we have to perform here. So I have no one got pinged. Okay, then I'm going further. So like to understand DevOps more better way. So DevOps is the combination of software development and the operations, which we are talking from starting onwards, the same thing, right? So what happens here is melding the two disciplines in order to improve the communication. So collaboration and integration between the traditionally separate developer and IT operations teams. Okay. So further to mention a perfect image, so this is the one we can take. So the communication between the developer and operations team, development team and operations teams, and the collaboration between them, definitely it should be in a proper manner. If not, the project is getting affected with the deliveries. Project is going to affect with the codings and all. So the team, the DevOps team, the development team and operation team, they should maintain these three for sure. So DevOps is helping to maintain these three disciplines, like two disciplines with three objects like communication, collaboration, integration. So integration is all about integrating all the modules or not at last. So we are doing that. So this is one of the things that we have to maintain. So once we are implementing the DevOps, what is the goal of DevOps? What you are going to achieve after completion of the DevOps? So we are going to improve. We are going to improve the deployment frequency. Means not for 1 year or long term, within short term, like Scrum process we say, sprint we say. So the agile methodology, when we talk, we can do that. We can come to know the terminology. So sprint means like short-term duration, which is like a sprint, a Scrum meaning. Okay, so Scrum or sprint, we can say anything. So we can achieve the fast time to the market. Means our code is going to deploy to the client very faster. Means we are reaching into the market easily. Means For example, I'm running small IT organization for suppose, and I am working for one of the client. When I deploy the code to the client and when I am going into the market with that client, definitely I also will get some name, because if that code is deployed properly, definitely the competitor to that client, my client, will reach out to me to do the same thing. So I am also gaining something. This as an IT employee, IT company, I am also getting into the market. So the competitor of the my client also can come reach out to me to do the same thing, right? So next we got like a lower failure, because if you just observe here, after completion of 1 year you deployed, after completion of 1 year you deployed, and you got like failure for suppose, then what happens? Now on all the modules again you have to perform some debugging. Again, you have to redesign. Again, you have to perform development. Again, you have to perform testing and all the modules. But now in agile methodology, what will happen? When I am developing this code itself and when I am deployed and when I am moving to the next module, if any errors occurred, any failures occurred within the department, I can rectify along with this department or module. So parallel, I can work on this also. So nowhere my work is stopping. But if I do it in the waterfall, till 1 year I'm waiting, the client is waiting. And after that, if I say that there is a failures, definitely it is going to be an a red mark in the project. So that is where we have to make sure, and where the agile methodology. So will be having the failure rate very for new releases very lower. Okay. So next, the fixes means the error fixes also will happen very faster. There is no stopping. Actually, there is no stop. So time to recovery also it will improve the time. So now to perform all these development and operations, the DevOps teams are categorized here in multiple way. Okay. So we have so which is like, see, these all activities which these all the activities which should be performed based on the developer, and these all the operations should be activities should be performed by the operator operations. So in the waterfall model, when we are working with waterfall model, why we did not use the DevOps tools? Why now we are using? Why we are using DevOps now? Why in the waterfall model we did not use? Because in the waterfall model, there is a very rare deployment. Means after a long duration we'll have. So there is not required of any tools. The manpower is required enough. But in agile methodology, what will happen? It will be having the rare, very rare, frequently deployments. 3 weeks minimum, 8 weeks maximum. This is the sprint duration for each module. These all are the benefits to the client or not? Definitely. But who is affecting because of these things? Can anyone say? Just I'm having a. I want to let you know. Just for a small change, I was asking you like, because of this agile methodology, who got affected? Anyone got affected? Any team? I'll tell you one simple conversation which happened between me and my colleague when we were new to this agile methodology. In the year of 2011-12, I guess. So there is a waterfall model most often we are using. Most of the projects are in the waterfall model, not in the agile model. So when we tag two projects, we have to feel aram say, okay, 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years, no problem. We are going to continue without any problem, because whatever we develop, whatever we do, whatever the technical actions, what we are doing, if any debugs are there, when they are going to come out after a long duration, 1.5 year and all. Correct or not? But when agile methodology is into the picture, then what happened? It is like 3 weeks minimum, maximum 8 weeks. Maybe the people are looking for the first module, no problem. But second module, we are getting affected. So that's where the development teams got more intensive to work on very careful. Means, of course, it is a good thing, but when the developer perspective, because there is a close monitoring happens on the employees, on the development team, because they have to write the code very, very effectively. Because in the waterfall model, the code performance should be result in the after 1 year or 1.5 year. So it's like some duration we have, but in the agile methodology, it's like not maximum, minimum 3 months, maximum 6 months. The people can come to know what are you, how we are performing, how we are doing, who is best. These all things are going to come within short term. Of course, these all are advantages to the clients. So like this, we are going to take care of the operations, but it is like just a small healthy conversation that we had earlier, but we all got habited to work on agile again. So now that personality is working effectively. There are no problems at all. So like this, we are going to work on. So for now, the tools of the DevOps were categorized for two different operations. One is like for development team, another one for the operations team. If you people find habited to me, and if you people are fine, just reply at least for once now, whether you are able to get the things or not. Shall we go further from now itself? Because these all the tools we have to know and we have to speak. So speak means like, can you just ping me whether you are able to get the things what I'm talking, or anything something like rocket science, or I am catching you, means I am coming into your level and I am just talking or not. I just want to know, means whether you are able to get me or not, like you are understanding me or not. I hope I am audible to you. Is there no option to you to chat or what, or else? Because something should happen. Can I reply it first of all? Can I expect any reply from you guys? No. So then maybe the concepts are not reaching out to you, I guess, if you are not replying. Any one of you were not able to get the things or what? Can people reply once? I got some good reply for once. Arvind, yeah, it's good for now. Good to know. Yeah, fine. Thanks, Arvind. So at anyhow, I got one reply. For now, I'm looking fine. I'll go further then. So I got another reply, Purima. Duration, and I'll come to that. Mahesh Chandra, interested to know. Yeah, fine. Mahesh, good reply. Got Purnima, good reply. Purnima, but I'll come to the duration as well. Let me complete this. Yeah, finally, that's a good thing. I got like three replies. Thanks for that. So it makes me better to go further. Okay. So now, finally, we'll come to the DevOps tools. At high level, I'll talk these tools, what they are for, and how we are going to work with them, and what is the benefit of these things. We will just have an overview. Okay. So the planning and planning code based means the code of any stream. For example, Arvind, I'll come to know. Is it real time? Is it real time, sir? Means Purnima, the last point I couldn't understand. So Arvind asked like, can you please elaborate what are the things to be know before we set up the. Yeah, I'll do that. But for now, we are going to talk on the tools to elaborate. That's it. And Purnima, your point I did not understand. So just type it to elaborate something. So Mahesh says he's interesting. Yeah, I got know those things. Fine now. So quickly, I'll just talk. These are the two tools which will help to save the code. For example, as I said, I am using multiple streams like tools like BI environment side, Power BI, Tableau, and GitHub. I'm sorry, not GitHub. I'm sorry, like ADF. So the code which I develop in that as a developer, I have to save it them into the repository. So when I want to save them, so I have to use some repositories. So that is like SVN and Git. In Git, we have like GitLab and GitHub. We have two. One is private and one is a public. So if you just see the difference at higher level, SVN is like centralized repository, and Git is like distributed repository. So that's why we oftenly see the Git. Means what? Git is like distributed. Means for every uh, person, means for every developer, we will have the local repository. So how many, see here, if you have these copies, so we got like local repository for every developer. So the code can be saved. In some cases, what happens in the SVN, if there is no connectivity from the centralized repository, the developers cannot save their code very frequently because the deployment happens very frequently every time. So the repository connection should be most often. But distributed will have the local repository. So most of the people uses Git. But when you say Git, it is like expensive. Whereas SVN is having only one repository centralized, it will expense you less when you compare with Git. But the availability will be more within the Git. The availability, sometimes it might cause issue within the SVN. So like this, the repositories means the code. If you are writing a Java code, that code has to save somewhere, right? You people save it. Maybe you people belongs to Java, or like you people belongs to database side. You might people belongs to testing. You might people belongs to DB or BI as per my experience. So these all things will help you people to write a code, and that code has to store somewhere in the repository. So those repositories can be configured within the Git or SVN. So we'll talk these two things also, how to configure the repositories. Next step. So we have to build a building or testing. So to build the codes, we got like Maven and Ant. These are the tools to integrate the development. I mean, to integrate the code, we have to bring those integration to happen of that code. We have to use either any. But in the projects, the people will not use all of these. But we have to know while learning, we have to know all of these because we are not sure in which project, which more tool they are using. So for testing, we can use like these two, Selenium, JUnit. So there are some other tools as well, but which we are going to discuss, I just mentioned here. Okay. So now we got like the DevOps, I mean development operations to be performed. So next we got like operations activities, operations team. So the operation teams will be deployed using these three tools like Puppet, Chef, Ansible. These are called like configuration management tools. These all operation teams are like configuration management tools. What this is going to do? What are the roles of these things? Means first of all, we have to install the packages. Every time if you want to install the packages, it is difficult. So tool will do that. So the configuration management tools like Puppet, Chef, Ansible, they can do this all. They can install the packages, and the applications can be deployed, and they can be configured. These all things we are going to do in the waterfall model using what? Manual way. The people, the maintenance people will be performing these all things manually. But now in agile methodology, if you want to do every 3 weeks, every 6 weeks, at least I have to perform means it is like a manual work means it is a risky process, time taken process. So we have to configure these tools to perform. So next, once we configure, we have to make the service management. Service management. So next we have to get all the sources, all the code related, everything we have to make it, right? So this is like files management. Files management. So next, the users who are developing this code and who is responsible for that code, those informations we have to get. So user groups and all. So these all activities are going to perform using these configuration tools. Okay. So for now, just at high level to talk about Puppet uses scripts like manifest. Okay, and Chef uses like the scripts called like cookbooks. Tomorrow I'll show you some basic of these things. Okay, so next, Ansible uses like playbooks. But to be honest, in the work environment, you are not going to work on these three. So you are not going to work on these three. You are going to work based on any one of them. But we don't know which one will be there. So if you just showcase these three things in your resume, for example, you are showcasing like four projects that you are working. You are going to say that in first project you are using Puppet scripts. In other project you are saying like Chef scripts. In another one Ansible. So if you have on these three, you will have a good weightage to your resume. That is one of the reasons why we are going to talk. Okay. So now these all we are going to learn in our regular sessions. So the scripts and all. So manifests were written using like DSL language. Okay, DSL. And cookbooks uses like Ruby language. So these things I'll talk in detail in the coming sessions. Playbook uses like AML. So they have their own definition and their own syntaxes and everything is their own they have. We are trying to going to talk in detail of these all tools. And we got like Sensio and Nagios to monitor the whole project. So these two things means once the development operations are done, we have to deploy the code into the operations. So the continuous integration and deployment, who is going to do? Who is going to do? 1 second. So Jenkins is the one concept which will implement the CI/CD. CI/CD. So apart from this, there are a few more tools like Docker. Docker is all about creating the VMs. Apart from this, we have the concept Dockers. Docker is what? VM creation. Docker VMs are Docker virtual machines are very lightweight. Whereas if you go for normal VM virtual machines, the weight will be very huge. Means like MBs it will say, like GBs or MBs it will be, but Docker's weightage is very less. And there is another service which will create the virtuals like Vagrant. So Vagrant is all about having a faster VMs. So Docker is also creating the lightweight VMs, and Vagrant will take less time to create the VMs. So it can be faster. So see why I'm talking about these things now. Operations means what? Operations are going to happen on the servers only. So if you have, see when I'm talking about the deployments and if I'm talking about the operations monitors and the monitoring and all, these all like operations roles and responsibility. So when we are doing the code development, we work with only one server development. Once the development is done, we move that code to the testing. Once the testing is done, then we are going to move the pre-prod. So these all are the servers. If your project, if your client is having a huge volume of data and huge number of domains, then a huge number of products, then definitely we have to maintain multiple servers. So what virtual machine is one of the like a virtual server where it will not have the physical. So to create those virtuals, we are going to use Docker or Vagrant. And to maintain the load balance on these VMs which are created, we are using HA proxy. HA proxy, which will help to maintain the load balances. Means sometimes if you see, for example, Amazon or like Flipkart, they do a lot of publicity on their offers. When they are doing like a lot of offers, the customers interaction, the customers will be very huge people who want to avail that offers. Then automatically at once they are connecting to the servers. What happens? Sometimes they will fall down or they will be very slow. So at that point of time, the HPA proxy will take care of that load balancing and the performance of the server setup. So here also we have a small means maybe there's all customers like in that such way we don't get that generally for our IT people, but like front-end people definitely they have to face such issues. So HA proxy is the one which will make the load balancing from the on the servers. Okay, so we have some other tools also for GitLab and Nexus like to code. Means for example, I am developing the project with Dev 0.1, Dev 0.2, 0.3. Dev means DevOps, I'm saying. So now the three versions of this development configuration of combination of multiple tools I have. For planning, I did something. For repository configuration, I did use one. And for this building and all the code, once I have one I have used. And for this testing, I have used one. The combination of these tools will be development one. The second combination will be DevOps 2. The third combination DevOps 3. Sometimes client will feel better than the latest one. The previous one will be more better. Then we have to go to the previous version also. These all servers are going to save in the concept of Nexus. Okay, so like this, we have to know all these tools. But once if you are very new for today, it's not an issue at all. Once we are going to start this concepts, no, then we are going to know each and every concept within the whole training. So this is just only the introduction that we want to give you for today as a demonstration. But in depth of these tools and every tool we are going to talk in the coming sessions. So this is all, and the whole training will be the title of the training would be this one, like DevOps with AWS and Linux. And the VMs are going to create. VMs means what? Virtual machines, which we should have an OS. So the OS can be we are going to work on Linux. And we are going to cover a few topics like 4 to 5 hours on AWS as well. Because this DevOps operation should be performed in either with one of the cloud service. So AWS we are going to talk about. And tomorrow I have a plan to talk the tools more in depth and I want to show some practicality. And later we will go. So Monday by default, from Monday we will try to create an AWS account. Okay, and from there we will start. So, but tomorrow and after tomorrow, Saturday we will not have the session. Tomorrow we'll have the session. So this is all for the demonstration. If you people are fine understanding these things, and if you got some idea by joining to this meeting, that should be fine. If not, let me know if you have any questions at high level. If not, we will talk in the tomorrow session. So I request all of you to ask some questions. Like, I mean, sometimes if I feel like I am just having some questions on from my side, I'll take it up, but I cannot take all of your questions. So just make sure. Okay. The duration of the course will be 45 to 60 hours. I feel like 60 hours is the best because I have to talk the Linux, I have to talk about AWS with the DevOps. So DevOps only alone it will take 45 hours. So AWS and Linux will take another 15 hours. So definitely we should have like 60 hours minimum planning. Okay, that is what my intention, and where you can be like full-fledged DevOps person, you can go ahead with your resume. So you might work with this. After completion of this course, definitely you can work with AWS Cloud or Linux environments with the DevOps operation, DevOps too. Okay, so it will be very handy for you. So this is all you can showcase after this training. Like maybe if you have some gap and all, like 3 to 4 years of gap, you can showcase. So that's it from end. So Mahesh has like duration, right? Yeah, that is about 60 hours. Any other questions? So Kunima, you asked earlier something. Is it real time something? I didn't understand. Can you include that once. You are asking me currently I'm working on this DevOps team, or like the concepts would be covering the real-time scenarios. If it is that case, currently, see, I do development code for every 3 weeks. I'll connect to the DevOps, I'll connect to the ADF, I'll connect to Power BI, because I'm into an individual contributor. Myself, I am having the knowledge on, I mean, I'm having the work experience on the development side with ADF, Power BI and all. That code I will try to deploy into the environment. So definitely it is dependent. Okay, first of all, I'll talk to the Purnima that what she's saying, like it is real time. So the real time scenarios, definitely we first talk about the technical stuff. Later we will cover some real time scenarios. Okay. And myself, yeah, I have all the development part and operations team experience as well. Okay. So next, Arvind is asking what will be the packages offering for. So it's purely dependent. If you can target for 12 lakhs or like 30 lakhs, 15 lakhs, they are fine. But which cloud you are using, what OS you are using, and what all the tools you have experienced, these all things matters again. And in that again, if you are demanding for the packages and all, maybe you have to wait more time to get an opportunity. If it is not like the first company itself will give you the opportunity to the requirement of your package or something. So we have to lose some companies opportunities, and if you are okay for that, definitely we can get the high packages as well. So minimum it can be like I feel 9 lakhs, 10 lakhs is the one best to desire a job first. Once if you know, means if you are working in any other streams and you want to move your career into DevOps, then you can target for 12 lakhs to 15 lakhs between as well. And one more thing, it is currently dependent on your current package also. So there are a lot of factors which we need to discuss before deciding what packages we should have. But minimum and by default one, we can max it up to 9, 10 lakhs as well. Generally, I prefer like 4 years experience, right? Number of years experience into 2, I will just do. But of course, it got changed now. Like into 2 at least, or else you can go for up to you can go for 3 also for DevOps and AWS. The hard skills you have to maintain. That's what the main intention. I'm just giving on mute for a while. In the meantime, if you have any question, you can type.